a Playlyst original.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast,
where we review the pilot episodes of TV shows to answer your question, should I watch this?
My name is BJ.
And my name is Mitu.
And this week, we're watching Pluribus on Apple TV, The Bad Guys Breaking In on Netflix, Crutch on Paramount Plus, and Stumble on NBC.
So stay tuned to the end to find out who BJ would hive mind with.
Oh, that's a big commitment. I got to think hard about it.
And I think we've already done a little bit of it today, but until we reveal that, why don't you let us know what happens in Pluribus on Apple TV?
Sure. Set in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the series follows author Carol Sturka, played by Rhea Seehorn, who is one of only 13 people in the world immune to the effects of the joining, resulting from an extraterrestrial virus that had transformed the world's population into a peaceful and content hive mind. So, Mitu, what were your thoughts on this sci-fi series?
This was a nightmare for me in a number of ways. Of course, there is this very scary viral outbreak. Stop me if that sounds familiar. And then we have that it is being spread by saliva. Can't stand that. And then you are possibly, I don't want to spoil too much, but kind of losing, let's say, some autonomy.
That's true. I don't like how it transmits between people, and it seems to be specific to humans, but everyone seems happy.
Sure. One thing that you did me the honor of saying, though, is you said when you watched this, you knew that if I were immune or not, I would not contract this.
Yes. As soon as the first person kissed another person to transfer the virus, I knew Mitu would have 10-foot radius to start, and then soon she'd be gone, but uninfected.
You'd have to catch me pretty early in the morning to approach me tongue first. And I'm not throat punching you and running away. You'd have to really catch me on a tough, slow day.
Surprising how many people we see get that surprise kiss with no resistance.
No issue.
Mm-hmm.
Coworkers, passing colleagues, just folks at a bar. And some people are open to that, and that's beautiful. I love people who love love. I just can't love them at me tongue first. Can't do that.
So, let's say you were more like Carol, who's immune to the kisses.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Do you want to be the only person who's immune?
No, that sounds miserable, which is why I love the framing of her by the premise of the show that she's considered the most miserable person on earth because everyone else is just seemingly so much happier who has been infected. And I think it's really tough to center a show around one person. We've seen that done really well. We've seen that done to okay and even bad results. And in this case, I was so intrigued by her. I was excited by her, and I was on the edge of my seat. She's not even necessarily likable or unlikable. I just absolutely have to understand what she is encountering next. She was just a fascinating person to center this around. And unfortunately, I laughed very hard when she tried to save someone's life by driving her truck, but she failed the breathalyzer on it. I unfortunately laughed very hard at that.
I have to agree completely. I don't think she is the most interesting or likable lead. And I think she is the perfect person to go into this world with. We get a little bit more information about what's going on, but really we're learning as she's learning through this whole situation. And I think it helps that we see her lose someone. She loses her manager and partner, and that trauma added with the weirdness that is going on is so compelling.
Yes. You and I have talked a lot, I feel like, in recent reviews about shows that have done all build up and how that isn't always interesting and we need to get into the action, but that there is a way to do all build up, all lore, all world setting, and it's interesting. And I think this pilot is a great example. This was all build up. We really didn't get like a big, interesting reveal until the last couple minutes, explaining a bit of what's going on and letting us know what the action will be. And yet I truly was upright, like just on the edge of my seat, wanting to know what will happen next as we are setting this world. I think another really good example of that for Star Trek Hive, Trekkies Gang Gang, is the pilot episode of Deep Space Nine.
I'm now familiar.
You can get familiar. Don't worry. I got you.
Well, you have a lot of enthusiasm for Pluribus on Apple TV. Will you watch more episodes?
Yes. Even for non-sci-fi Hive, I think you'll find this one interesting. I am not part of sci-fi fantasy community like that, and this was such an intriguing pilot. I was scared that it was going to be like gory or bloody, and it isn't. Though if you are also someone who's grossed out by saliva and like can't even watch people brush their teeth, just a heads up, content warning on that, as I wish I had received that content warning. But otherwise, I think that this is really, really interesting, and I can't wait to watch again, seriously. And the only thing that stopped me from watching more is both the pace at which they're putting out episodes and just the fact that you and I needed to record, and so I could not keep watching.
I'm glad, I guess myself, yourself, and Apple are putting some restraints on me. I would watch again, seriously. This is the type of sci-fi show I want to watch. It is interesting. It feels fresh. It's compelling. There's a mystery where we get enough information to feel like we know what's going on with this hive mind, but there's still so many questions left of what they want from Carol. And I think that is enough to keep me watching. So, how about we go from a world with one mind to a world with multiple minds trying to come together?
You're talking about The Bad Guys Breaking In on Netflix. This prequel series follows our bad guy thieves before they turned good. They're led by Mr. Wolf, voiced by Michael Godera, Master of Disguise Mr. Shark, voiced by Ezekiel Ajebe, Tech Genius Tarantula, voiced by Mallory Lowe, Escape Artist Mr. Piranha, voiced by Raul Ceballos, and Lockbreaker Mr. Snake, voiced by Chris Diamantopoulos.
You sound really familiar with this cast.
I am Bad Guys Hive. I do need to come out and say that. I have watched both movies. They're fantastic. That sequel was so good. It took a while for us to get it, but I think it was worth the wait. I have watched the two little holiday specials. The Halloween special was so cute. The Christmas special was so cute. So I'm already in. I think my rating has been spoiled here. I think the Bad Guys series, shout out to the graphic novel gang as well. I'm not part of that, but happy to join. I just really love these stories. But you are not Bad Guys Hive, which surprises me. Did this prequel series interest you? Did you get it? Did you care, having not engaged in previous bad guysery?
Right. I'm entering a new world. I'm not an anti. I just have never taken that leap. Haven't taken that step. And I think this was a good introduction to this team. I don't think you need any additional context, and maybe that's because it's a prequel, so it helps that we're establishing the bad guys as a team of thieves and criminals. And it was very easy to understand everyone's role on the team and see that friendship start to build.
I really loved that the prequel took it in that direction where we're both seeing them on the path to becoming these world famous, or I should say notorious, thieves, and that we're seeing them on the path to becoming besties. I did not realize in all of my bad guys experiences that they weren't always best friends. It makes sense, But it's just as lovely watching them learn these fancy thief skills as it is watching them learn to trust each other, because they are just bad guys. And so you see them do a lot of lying in each other's faces, a lot of openly questioning each other, which made for some very funny moments and also showed the potential of what it looks like when they can actually trust each other a bit more, especially Snake and Wolf. They cracked me up.
And Miss Tarantula, she's ready to get out of there if things don't go well.
Yeah, she is a little too clever. Whereas Shark and Piranha, I think this is kind of where they have the best shot at success.
I agree. And I think that adds to all the classic hijinks, which this show does really well. I like that it's in a world where there's like a top 10 list of criminal groups on the news.
Yeah.
So it's established. This is the norm. They are competing in an industry that is somewhat socially acceptable. And that's fun.
I loved the meta moment of the news anchor being like, maybe by releasing these top 10s, we're actually encouraging people and having them want to compete to be number one. But whatever. So this exciting thing just happened. I thought that was very funny as well. And I liked that we started with a couple heists in this first episode. They did not waste any time. And that was the vehicle through which we saw them start to learn to trust each other and start to understand their skills. I think sometimes with these animated shows, there's this bit of self-importance of wanting it to be like fancier or more elevated. And so there would be like more narrative moments or hard conversations or whatever that could look like. And I like that instead they were like, no, we're just going to have them doing bad guy things. And that's how we're going to learn about these bad guys.
And it looked good too.
Shout out.
Shout out to DreamWorks. You know, they made all those Kung Fu Panda movies, which looked great. And I bet the bad guys movies also looked great.
I recently watched the Kung Fu Panda movies for the first time last year.
Oh,
Fire.
I like those.
Fire. Each one. I think there's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
That's a hive I am a member of.
I join you.
Welcome. And now I join you in the bad guys hive, thanks to the bad guys breaking in on Netflix.
Okay, what would you rate this?
I would rate this would watch again casually.
Okay.
Let me just sit in for a heist or two every week, and I think it'll be a great ride.
For me, because it is under 30-minute episodes, this is a perfect would watch with lunch.
Yeah.
So that's how I will watch again. And for anyone else who likes to watch a little something while they eat, I think this is the perfect length of time for that. And it's funny and it'll keep you entertained. All right. So why don't you take us from thievery to moving back homery?
You're talking about Crutch on Paramount Plus. From the world of The Neighborhood comes a new comedy starring Tracy Morgan as Frank Crutchfield. He's stubborn but lovable with the nickname Crutch, and he is at the heart of a multi-generational story as his son and his daughter come closer to his family home. So Mitu, what'd you think of this comedy? You are a comedy resident fan. You love a live studio audience. You love to laugh. You love joy. You love all of this.
And I'm a resident of The Neighborhood.
Oh, perfect.
I really thought when I saw the description of The Neighborhood years ago when that show came out, and you and I actually reviewed the pilot, I genuinely thought like, I'm not sure about this. Like a comedy about gentrification. Essentially, it's so funny. It has so much heart. And so I will say that my expectations for Crutch, because of how wonderful The Neighborhood has been, I think it's in its final season now.
Oh.
I had high expectations for Crutch because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny. It's a classic comedy. Like you said, we have a live studio audience. This is helmed by Tracy Morgan. He's still got it. Mm-hmm. He has this very Fred Sanford dynamic with his sister-in-law, Antoinette, played by Keisha Lewis. That made me laugh. I loved seeing legendary comedian Lunel as his neighbor, Miss Pearl. I thought that dynamic was very funny. So there's really great comedy elements here. I think it was a little bit predictable, but I did laugh. Like, every Tracy Morgan line read cracked me up. I just expected maybe a bit more laughs, and the storyline felt a bit predictable. However, I am a big fan of both Jermaine Fowler, who plays his son Jake, and Adriana Mitchell, who plays his daughter Jamila.
You know, I have similar feelings about this pilot episode. I thought it was really funny. Tracy Morgan, definitely the standout in terms of the jokes and the comedic timing and really pulling this story forward. I think the other aspects weren't bad, but they didn't entice me. Like the two storylines with his children, a little too predictable. It felt like a lot of setup and not enough payoff in this pilot episode. And I wanted more than an introduction to the Crutchfield family.
I agree. And again, I think my bigger laughs or the more interesting parts of the story were when he and Antoinette interacted, when he and Miss Pearl interacted, or even when he was with his bestie, Flacco, played by Adrian Martinez. All three of those people opposite Tracy Morgan made me laugh very hard.
Honestly, we just need a show about Frank's life before his kids came home.
That's true. Or, I mean, the beautiful thing about sitcoms, especially, and I know this is not exactly one of them, but the 22 episode sitcoms, is you shift the focus based on what the audience reacts to. So, for example, on Mom, we shifted focus away from Anna Faris's kids because the more interesting story became Anna Faris at these meetings with these other women who were dealing with addiction issues as a broadcast multicam comedy, which is fascinating. And in this show, I could also see shifting away from the kids and focusing on the friends. But then again, this is just the first episode. So we could see more laughs coming. I also thought there were very cute and funny moments with his daughter's kids, with his grandkids.
Yes. I thought the grandkids played well into the story, which unfortunately just adds to me feeling like the kids themselves, Jake and Jamila.
Oh, that's true. I keep going around them.
But we want them to stay. I don't want them to get written out.
That's true. Yeah, the laughs will come. These are both people who've proven themselves to be very funny, especially Jermaine Fowler. So I'm not doubting the laughs are coming. I think it's just the way the story was structured in this first episode. We're focusing on how Crutch has gone from empty nester to something else entirely.
Will you stick around for more episodes of Crutch on Paramount Plus to see if those laughs do show up?
Absolutely. I will watch again casually. I think if you're the Neighborhood Hive, if you're Multicam Comedy Hive, if you're Tracy Morgan in a Comedy Hive, because he also had that fantastic show, The OG on TBS, I think you'll enjoy this as well. He's just so charming. He's why a lot of comedies work. He just makes this funny. And I think he brings a lot of heart to this as well.
I agree. He was the standout. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen something he's been in, and I forgot just how good he is at comedy and acting. So this would be a would watch while eating lunch or cooking.
Yeah.
I think with such a family-centric comedy, like an episode while you're doing those activities would just be like a feel-good moment with laughs.
True.
So how about we go from a family that makes us laugh to a cheer team that makes us laugh?
Just a different kind of family. You're talking about Stumble on NBC and Peacock. North Carolinian actor Jen Lyons plays Courtney, a successful cheerleading coach who finds she has to start over with a new junior college squad if she wants to become the winningest coach in college cheer history.
Love a person with a clear goal.
And I want to call out that the actor is North Carolinian because I loved her Southern accent. I think you and I will watch things sometimes and these Southern accents come out wild. And I just really felt comforted by her accent.
That's a good point. The fact that it didn't stand out to me means it was probably still exaggerated, but authentic enough that I wasn't like, what is that supposed to be?
My other thought in watching this pilot episode is that it genuinely felt like a movie, but I think sometimes when you and I share that feedback, it's not always good. Like it means like, I feel like I've received a whole story and I'm done. In this instance, it almost felt like part one of a movie, maybe, where I felt so satisfied by the story building in this first episode, and the last few minutes, although a bit predictable, makes you want to lean in and watch more and see where this squad goes.
Yes. And what I'm about to say, I mean only in a positive way.
Okay.
It felt like a TNT or ABC Family TV movie.
Yeah.
And we got the first 25 minutes of it.
And there's only positive to be taken from that.
So entertaining. I love them.
The absurdist comedy was also very good. I think overall the show could have been a bit funnier, but there were so many absurd moments that made me laugh. The fact that her old school was called Sammy Davis Senior Junior College, that her boss was named Dean Martin. Like, he's Dean and Martin. I love that Kristen Chenoweth, who is her assistant coach at her old college before she finds herself at this new school, that her name is Coach Istini, but it's spelled is tiny. And there's so many Kristen Chenoweth as short jokes. I loved the humor of the crew that they put together. Her lead tumbler has narcolepsy. Her other tumbler is a former football player who used to play for her husband, and he has like a ton of personality things. One of them is like an acrobat thief. And then there's like
kleptomania.
Yes, and then there's like the TikTok dancer crew, and she was like, I'll just buy them full coverage underwear. And then the grown man who's in there, as well as the kind of sad cheerleader. And when she just goes, I think I'm going to probably end up adopting her. That made me laugh so hard.
Such a mothering role.
Yes.
And shout out to Ryan Pinkston, who came back. He said his character cheered for her 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was ready to go straight back to junior college.
He was ready to risk it all for her because she clearly has a very loyal group around her. I thought going into this that some of the humor would be that she is this very unlikable person. She plays this very kind of dark humor kind of character on the English teacher. And I thought it would be more like that, where you kind of hate how much you love her because she's not necessarily doing good things, but she's very entertaining to watch.
Right.
In this instance, she is a cheer coach in the South who probably upholds or would be thought to uphold a lot of these tough beauty standards and things like that. Instead, she is so surprisingly lovable. You see that with how these kids rally around her, even in some instances after having just met her, and it makes you root for her. So even if we're sacrificing a bit of humor in her not being like so bad she's funny, we are developing the heart and the thing that makes you want to tune in each week to see if they're getting closer to the goal of making her the winningest cheer coach in junior college history.
And I think that's really helpful with all of the absurdist humor, these big personalities. She needed to be not like the straight man or the normal person in the group, but someone that we can care about and want to follow along. And like you said, it could have been very predictable that she was this mean, tough coach that no one likes but gets results.
Yeah.
But then it turns out she cares about her team. She does want to win, but she's not going to like abuse these. Well, some of them aren't children. She's not going to abuse these cheerleaders just to get that trophy.
It's also nice to see her home life. Shout out to her husband, played by Taran Killam. I have only seen him in recent years as spouse or counterpart to Complicated Funny Woman, on Single Parents, on High Potential, and now on Stumble. This is the only real association I have with Taran Killam right now, and he's nailing it in each instance. Well, RIP to the show Single Parents, canceled way too soon, but on High Potential and on Stumble.
I will just say typecasting happens for a reason.
Yeah. He's a star in this role, as supportive to a star.
And with so many stars, will you keep watching more episodes of Stumble on NBC?
Yes. And also, just to sort of extrapolate on the Taran Killam piece, he also has some of the very funny, absurdist comedy moments.
His backstory, yeah.
There are some callbacks to a football injury that he had that are kind of tough to watch, but also played for very big laughs.
Well,
I would
can I
watch
add
again.
one quote really quick from that?
Yes.
They have a conversation, Courtney and Boone, and she says, "You can't forget what you already know." And he says, "I did." Just to encourage her.
So with that, I would rate Stumble on NBC, would watch again seriously for comedy high, for those of us who are not BJ, who like to laugh and smile and watch things that make us laugh and smile.
Okay.
I think you'll want to watch this again seriously too, because even if you feel like a couple of the laughs are missing in this first episode, there is so much heart and you are rooting so hard for our head coach that you want to see her win and you want to see what her pursuit of that will be.
That's so interesting because I do want to see her win. I do want to see her pursue. I did laugh. I did experience joy while watching this show.
Okay. Did that hurt?
So I'm going to watch again casually.
Wow.
And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't think any more of my opinion needs to be shared in this space.
Okay. I'd like to bring it back to this being a safe space. So with that, who would you hive mind with?
Ooh, you know what I would do? This is kind of mean.
Oh, no.
I'd hive mind with your partner and your dog.
Why?
So we could all be on the same page and like think about you without having to even talk.
I guess I like that you would all be thinking about me.
But like probably talking behind your back, but in our mind, our shared mind.
But positively, I know that to be the case because my dog loves me so bad.
Well, what if you don't give her chicken?
I will. And then all three of you will be so happy. I thought you were going to say you did kind of hive mind with me a little bit because we got on this Zoom and we're wearing the exact same shade of sweater.
Yeah, that was an accident.
No, I don't think anything's an accident in this case. Look at you. Look at me. Matching. Oh, sometimes I wish this were video.
I'm glad it is not.
Okay, where can people find more episodes of the Pilot Podcast where you and I may or may not be color coordinated?
They'll never know when they head to our website, thepilotpodcast.com, and you'll never know when you follow us on your favorite podcast platform.
You will know if you follow us on social media at The Pilot Pod, and you can send thoughts, feelings, show recommendations, your thoughts on what outfits we should color coordinate next to askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Bye.